Invest wisely. Let me see if I can crisp that up a little bit. Yeah, it's a little better. Well, I don't want. What is that? Oh boy, now that's gonna bother me. I'm gonna keep it like that. Anyway, I have this little pocket tarot deck here, and since it is cooling down and some of us are going into hibernation mode, I thought, why not? Why not? So I'm gonna pull a few cards here. Okay. The earthworm burrowing into the soil. Some of us will be burrowing into our blankets, right? Look at that peacock. We are entering into the holiday season. Sometimes, holiday outfits are a little more, festive. Might be out there peacocking. Oh dear. That's my dog watching the place like a hawk. My goodness. My goodness. Bird's eye view. Right. Don't mess, right? They say a tiger will double back also. Um if something's in their kind of territory or is after them. So, you know, just be aware of that, I guess, especially as you are in the holiday season. It might be fun to go window shopping, but, there might be, these days, those people go right by and scan your cards and stuff, try and hack into your cards and stuff. So, yeah, I got, when they say eyes like a hawk, watch them like a hawk, you might need to. Okay, so. Oyster. Okay, yes, the world being your oyster. Maybe you're interested in pearls. Look at that, the cheetah. Maybe you already have your shopping done. Maybe you are a fast shopper. You're like, I don't need a lot, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to be in and out, you know. Or maybe you're the type that gives cash. So it's like you go to the bank, you get your, 20s, 50s, 100s, whatever, for your family members and put them in envelopes and you're done. You know what I mean? Like, they spend it however they want. Cheetah. Yeah, so we didn't really talk about the oyster as much, but it's kind of nice. Again, animal that does burrow. So as we enter the holiday season, something to think about. Oh my gosh, and here it is, the bear. Talk about, going into hibernation. So, if you do kind of, slow down around the holiday season, or obviously, you're going to be busy going to family's stuff or, your kids' Christmas pageant and blah, 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 right? Traveling. There might be other things that get on the back burner. So be prepared, right? To kind of go into hibernation and like give yourself a break, right? This time is meant for you to just kind of be that bear and kind of chill and relax. Okay. Um, you know, anywho, the mouse. Hopefully, you don't have a mouse in your house. I don't think this dog that's possible at the moment. His his steps are too heavy. Oh my gosh! It's like I hear her walking through the house. Like, who's that? Oh yeah, it's that dog. Gazelle. Gazelles are very quick, light on their feet. Maybe you're not as heavy handed as the dog is, I mean, close to the ground. Maybe you're a little bit taller, so your strides are a little bit longer, more like a gazelle. Okay. A gazelle is also in warm weather territory, so you might be considering some type of winter getaway. A lot of people do, they're like snowbirds, right? Um, so regionally, wherever that is for you around the world, right? Um, some people live in multiple regions of the world depending on the season, okay? Sometimes that has to do with the business they're in. Sometimes it just has, maybe it's family, maybe it's, yeah, kids, maybe it's, school schedules, who knows, right? it's your, it's your prerogative. It's your world, right? Somebody asked, what does the oyster mean? Yeah, it's your world and you're living in it, right? The world is your oyster. Yeah, there's a lot of sand in there, right? That irritates us, right? A lot of things happen, but what does it make? It makes the pearl, right? But not every oyster makes a pearl. So think about that when you're alchemizing things, okay? Let's keep going. The elk, often hunted probably around this season. I mean, I think it's deer season where I'm at. It's supposed to snow too, and elk are like an animal that come out in the snow. Versus the gazelle, that's more of a warmer weather animal, okay, region, okay. Although the elk is a year-round animal, but I would say um, mid to upper North America is probably most popular for the elk. Although I think they are also overseas, like in the British Isles and that, I want to say. I mean, that's how they made it look in that movie, The Queen, right? Which I started watching that Diana Spencer movie with starring Kristen Stewart on Netflix. Oh my God, she like does she pulls her off so well. I feel like, but it was kind of hard. I didn't finish the movie though because it's hard for me to watch. It's just like how it ends eventually, but like you know, and it's the pressure, right? Being in a pressure cooker like that and everyone's eyes on you, versus being, say, out in the open, an elk who can roam free, versus being this gazelle who can just kind of leap and jump and grassily, chew on their, whatever. Like it showed her going down for a midnight snack. Okay, like in her own house, right? How many of us have just opened the refrigerator just to even look at it? Do you know what I mean? Like we might not even like really want anything in there, you just look at it, right? And now that you're an adult, nobody's yelling at you to stop, right? So anyway, um but anyway, in the movie, she is observed having this midnight snack by one of the, you could say, the queen's spies, if you will. And it was very creepy the way he was just observing her, and because she thought she was alone. And then they have this whole conversation about what she's doing and how she acts and how he's warning her, and she's like, who, and she's like, I'm trying to figure out like, who even are you? And he's like, oh, I'm here on loan for the event, blah blah blah. Yeah, crocodile. I mean, somebody can smile at you and still take your money, right? That dude was getting paid to watch her. Okay? That was his that was his role, right? And but something as innocent as that versus, say, think about the movie Father of the Bride, okay, and especially in the original, okay, when Spencer Tracy is in the kitchen like the night before the wedding, and he runs into Elizabeth Taylor in there who's playing his daughter in the movie, and it's like, oh, you can't sleep, me neither, haha, you know what I mean, like, here, let's have a little snack, it'll soothe our tummies and we'll just go back to sleep, versus how Diana was treated. Like, anyway, so yeah. Um And she was a very attractive person as well, like a moth to a flame. Like, people liked being around her. So, there's probably some of that, since these people were all representatives, right, of, England and everything. There was probably some professional jealousy, right, of all the attention. Because it's like, oh, well, she wasn't even really a royal, right? She was just one of those over there, and you know what I mean? Like, I think they kind of underplayed her intelligence, to the public. 'Cause when I was in Vegas, last time, they had a, Diana, exhibit, and it talked about all the things that she did, while she was there, but also before she became engaged to Charles and everything, and how she was a nanny, and how she loved, learning. And Kristen Stewart in the movie is doing that with whoever is playing the boys. They're like playing a game. And it was a very good game, like for kids. Like, it was like a word association type thing, which she probably learned, like, you know what I mean, in school to, help stimulate the kids' brains. But in that time, it came in handy because she was, again, under that scrutiny. And let's all remind the public, if you don't follow the royals, I mean, as she famously said, there were three of us in this marriage, right? But now, thank God, she at least had her, children, right? And I believe that they look upon her fondly, which Charles went on to marry Camilla. Anyway, right? Like, what? Like, why didn't they just hook up and leave Diana out of the whole business? Do you know what I mean? It's like, why even, and the older you get and the further away from some of these situations you get, and it's like, why did they even drag her into this? You know what I mean? Because the whole thing was a facade. Okay. Nightingale. Okay. So, especially in the wintertime, nightingale, it might bring quiet. You might say peace and quiet, okay, versus sometimes, the, I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, who that is. Okay. And then we have the raccoon. You ever hear that one? Rocky Raccoon. Gideon's Bible. So again, the panther here, nighttime may be significant for somebody. Okay. So, back to this nightingale, was the Stevie Nicks song, like a white-winged dove. Okay. Song of the night bird, right? Singing, come away, come away, come away, right? Just like the white-winged dove sings a song, sounds like she's singing. All right. So, that was probably another thing that Diana did with her boys, like sing them to sleep, which I believe my mother used to do that, until I got like, too hip, as a kid, right? And then we become real rascals out there. Anyway. But, if you ever saw that, Grizzly Adams show, again with the bear, okay, which came out earlier, right? Where's our bear at? Yeah. So our bear that came out earlier with the Grizzly Adams, right? If you ever watch that show, Gentle Ben was his name, okay? And then there was also a raccoon in the show, and the raccoon would always be washing his food in the stream. And it's like, because you always think about, you always think about raccoons as being like dirty animals, but in the show it was, in nature he's like, well, I'm hanging out at the stream here, like, it's like, looks pretty clean to me. So crow here, yeah, it's like, yeah, it might not be what was on your menu, but for somebody else they're like, yeah, this is pretty decent, so I don't know what, you know what I mean? Yeah, thinking they were kissing the frog, and you're like, okay. It's like, well, maybe you're the frog, dude. Mm. Yeah, I think somebody wanted you to be an eager beaver, and instead you're kind of entering into this winter mode. They might be biting themselves here a little bit. It shows here with this sea serpent biting themselves on the tail. Yeah, okay. Yeah, many directions to go. Sometimes we choose the right one, don't we? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we had the tiger earlier, and then here's this panther. Okay. Um, yeah. So watch out for those crocodile tears, right? Oh, what was that movie? Oh my God, the Blues Brothers. And he's like, it was outside of her salon, the Curl Up and Die salon, right? Carrie Fisher plays John Belushi's girlfriend, and she's like, oh, trying to kill him through the whole movie, right? In the Blues Brothers, the original version with him and Dan Aykroyd. Um, so it's set in Chicago, right? And she has like this bazooka. I mean, like, it's just crazy. And she's always after him, right? And as that final plea, he's like on his knee because they're begging for her life because she's like has all this weaponry, right? And he's like, baby, uh, he picking up every excuse like I missed the bus, the train was late, we ran out of gas, I love you, da, 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 right? But still, the second he gets a chance, and he does, and it's hilarious because it's like that's why they say leopard don't change their spots. Remember, an animal's still an animal, especially a wild animal. Okay. So, a lot of people be like, oh, they're domesticated, they're this, they're that. It's like, okay, but it's still, keep an eye out. Don't be dumb. Right? Remember, you are the knight, you are the panther. Like, what's that movie? We Own the Night with Joaquin Phoenix and Eva Mendes, I think, plays his girlfriend in the movie. Um, I thought it was pretty good. Um, let's do one more card here. Okay. So, it is the holiday season again. So that could be, and especially if somebody's coming around flashy, okay, wanting to kind of show off or give you something, and you could be like, well, that's great, but yeah, you could be like, whoa, you think I'm crazy? And bats are known to be very smart animals, also nocturnal. So it could be one of these things where, even like this person falls asleep and then you're just like, yep, I'm leaving, getting out of here. Don't ever be afraid to change your mind, right? And say, maybe this isn't for me. Wow. Look what just came out, you guys. And I'll prove it because that was the bottom of the deck. Yeah, eagle. Look at that. Oh, eagle eyes. They used to call me that. When the people I used to work with used to call me that. Be like, oh, eagle eyes over here. Well, that was our job, you know what I mean, to go over all this paperwork and stuff and make sure it was right. So, you had to be checking stuff. Yeah. All right. So, anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this reading. Remember to be safe this holiday season. Remember to be kind to others. Take a little extra time getting somewhere, right? Pray for those folks over in Hong Kong that just like all those people that just lost their homes and that horrible fire over there. That was terrible news to wake up to. And I was just so grateful, knowing like, oh my gosh, I have a roof over my head today. You know what I mean? Like, those folks, that's their whole life, and sometimes that's, not just like one generation living in an apartment like that, China is a very populous place. So, you know, I'm they're seeing it, showing it again on the news right now. So, you know, just be grateful for what you have, right? Be kind to the animals in your life, okay? If you are not allowed, if you do live in an apartment or something, you can't have an animal, you know, maybe you can volunteer at a shelter, right? Or donate to a shelter or something like that, right? Um, they always said help control the pet population, right? Spay or neuter your pets, which mine are, you know, but I think most shelters these days do that before they adopt out the pets. So anyway, I mean, yeah, they're enough work as it is, right? We love them, but you know. Well, I was gonna try my patience the other day. I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, but I think that's because, you know, it got kind of rainy here, and then it was just like I was cleaning up the mud, you know what I mean, that was coming in the house, and it's just like, oh my gosh. And I'm trying to get my house organized, you know how that is. So, anyway, you know, like I said, allow yourself some extra time, right? Jesus. You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. So, everybody, do have some safe travels out there. I saw they also have the strikes over there in Belgium, so like no planes are going in and out. Like, oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Like, I mean, this is our Thanksgiving weekend. Like, could you imagine if all the airports were shut down like right now? That's wild. So, I saw that. So, hopefully, that strike over there gets resolved to everyone's satisfaction. I know they take that pretty seriously over there. It's actually, I believe, a government requirement for all eligible citizens to vote. Um, like, technically, I think they could like fine you for not voting. So it's like a big deal um, over there. Anyway, which I know some of the stuff because I used to work with some folks from that region. When I had my was doing my corporate gig. Anyway, another time, but right now I'm jealous of them because they have like that late sun, you know, the midnight sun. It's like light out there till like 10 p.m. Like what? Like we just went through the time change here and it got dark at like 5 p.m. Like by 5 o'clock it gets dark now. So if it's like 4 o'clock somewhere and you're not turned around yet, you know what I mean, and you don't want to be driving in the dark, like you better head out. Oh Lord, here the midnight sun is an LED headlamp on a vehicle. Good Lord. Have you guys noticed those things? Gee, Christmas. That's why I hardly even like driving at night anymore because it's like they didn't. It used to have more of the yellow hue, you know what I mean? But now it's like they got those real high intensity LED ones. They're a little insane. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Because I'm not driving anywhere tonight. um, I guess technically I could go out and Uber for folks, but I'm not really in the mood to do that today. So I've been busy with some other things. So anyway, I will chat with y'all later. Until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.